Yeah, but
Gloves are off now,
Yeah.
Sammy. Welcome to the jungle.
Okay, we're live. Let's call this meeting to order before we get out of hand here. I'm
we're
sorry.
just getting started.
Okay. Minutes and reports received and filed.
Yeah, we have the treasurer's report, the reconciliation report for January 2015.
Okay,
And that's all.
that's all. Announcements of other upcoming meetings and events.
Got Cafe Via Roma ribbon cutting today, 11, if we're out of here. Hint, hint. Everybody, move quick.
Heartball Saturday night.
Yeah. Planning Commission meeting tonight. CCAM starting Wednesday. Mid-Missouri Solid Waste Management, nope, that one's rescheduled. The Wayfinding open house is Wednesday at 3 at City Hall.
I'd like-
HBA is Wednesday night. Other than that, there ain't a whole lot going on.
We're not gonna be here a lot though.
So I'm meeting with Representative Barnes this afternoon. If you guys need to talk to anything about that, and then Monday we have the Lincoln Day celebration at Capitol Plaza, Republican Central Committee, Lincoln Day.
We had a presentation of Missouri Homeland Security Grant, but Bruce had to postpone that. Do you want to go ahead, Bill, with the LEPC grant
Sure.
application?
Yes, I can do that. Yeah, I apologize, we called yesterday, his father-in-law was very ill, so not a problem, we'll just set up a different date and get information from him.
He's probably
What I have, the
just
first one is our Homeland Security grant application this year. Earlier in the year, the money that comes into the region, we put in for several items for the hazmat equipment and the emergency operations. What happened was there were some extra funds that came down per region. So there was $67,000 that came down again to Region F, so it's kind of a second grant application that we could put in. This past year with the biomedical hazard and the Ebola things, we worked a lot, and of course the Ferguson deal worked a lot with the local law enforcement, and so we need to replace a lot of the face masks that were very outdated. So we're requesting $19,000 to replace about 60 of those, not only for the team, but part of the team is the SWAT team with the sheriff's office and the police department. So we'd just like to go ahead and apply for that. We don't know if we'll get it yet, but this is just the application process for that. So we just need one signature for that.
I move we sign the grant application.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we've got the Regional Homeland Security Grant application too. Is that this?
That's it.
That's this one?
Yes,
Okay.
that one.
Okay.
Thank you for that. There again, that money goes through our RSOC, so it doesn't come through our budgetary process. They do the purchasing and we just keep the inventory.
So did we skip down to that one first?
Yeah, we're kind of,
Okay.
since we had Bill on the,
Mine just finally came up here, so I was trying to catch up where we were at.
The second one is just our, the 2014 Local Emergency Planning Grant. We put in for this every year. It's called Chemical Emergency Preparedness Fund. What the LEPC does, it looks at any business in the community that carries certain quantities of any type of chemicals. They pay a fee into the state. 65% of that money comes back to the locals to help us do our emergency planning, exercise, and anything that would do with, again, with hazardous materials or chemicals within the community. So this is just kind of a pass-through. We usually get anywhere from $4,500 to $5,500 a year, and that, again, that helps just with our planning and exercises and equipment purchases that might come along. So that's 2014 LEPC grant.
This is just the application again.
Uh-huh,
Okay.
yes.
I move we sign the application for the LEPC grant.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Sure, we'll put it on there, and I've got a little more for you. I'll make you copies of it. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Bill, do you have anything else that you needed to
No,
talk
sir.
about? Okay.
Okay. Next, we've got the Cole County First Responders and Jefferson City Fire Department budget request.
I don't know if you guys have gotten our first responders budget on your computer.
I think so.
If
Should
not,
be
I have some paper
attached.
copies.
Yeah, I've got it here, but Sam will need a printed copy.
Sam, go to your agenda, man. Put your arrow on that blue part underneath. I'm gonna teach you here. We got all day.
Jeff teaches.
That we don't, we don't have a
You're gonna need longer than a day of Jeff's teaching.
There you go. Gotta be nice now, you gotta be nice.
Oh, goodness.
You're asking
You
for
just
money
got
right now.
denied.
There you go. You just need two. That's true.
This is what we planned, mostly, again, insurance. It's the same as every year. We get hit hard with insurance, and upgrade of equipment, or upkeep of equipment, is our plan to use the money that you guys give us.
Total is 18.6 or,
No, sir, it's 25 even.
okay.
The 18.6 is the left line, the quarterly insurance, the workers, or sorry, the liability brings it up to 25. Our liability insurance.
So I see everything totaled out, and in general, I don't have a problem. I'm just trying to figure out where you're getting from 18.6 to 25 and
You
what.
see the 1600s to the left of the 18.6? I think adding those up will equal the 25.
Take the 6,400 and the 18.6.
I see.
They just didn't take it all the way across into the annual.
I see. So you just didn't annualize your liability.
Right,
total.
we pay it quarterly, so.
Good enough. I move we approve the operating budget. What are we approving today?
I will actually bring you a contract
Okay.
for you to sign, for the contract to be signed with them, so.
Okay.
I just wanted him to present the
That's
budget.
All right.
what we have in the budget, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
So you're going to bring us a contract. So do we need any action today?
No, just wanted him to present his budget.
I do it every year, I just modify the dates.
Yeah, that's usually what we do.
that'd be great. We can go ahead and have that done then, Joe, if you would. Thank you.
Okay.
So we'll just table that and we'll approve that contract here in just a minute.
Very well.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then Jeff City Fire Department Chief.
Hey, Matt.
Good morning.
How are you?
By way of introduction, good. I'm Matt Schofield, representing Jeff City Fire. I really don't have a budget per se to present to you. If it's okay, I'd like to kind of maybe go back and look at kind of the historical context and kind of what brought us up to this point. Long-standing relationship, running EMS calls back in 1997. Jefferson City Fire Department started running emergency medical calls inside the city limits. In 2014, we ran 2,964 medical calls out of our total of 4,571 of total incident calls. In addition, we had documented over 2,167 hours of EMS-related training. So we're uniquely positioned strategically throughout the city, many times to arrive quickly on incident scenes. We see our role not only as initial response for EMS, kind of with our partners, with you guys and the ambulance service, but to kind of stabilize that initial scene, and then we kind of transition once the ambulance arrives. We transition more into a support management, logistical support role. I think that's helpful. I used to work on an ambulance service when I was in college at the university as an EMT on an ambulance, and it was really helpful to me to be able to focus primarily on patient care and let other folks kind of help manage the overall scene control, a lot of the logistical things, traffic, those types of things logistically to help focus primarily on patient care. And that's kind of how we see our role in this EMS response. Clearly, we have many costs. We try to train on lots of rescue type of roles, whether they be trench, confined space, extrication, high-angle rescue, water rescue, ice rescue, tower, hazardous materials, and incident command systems. So we have, like everybody, an ever-challenging budget situation. We're currently fighting for additional personnel throughout the city's budget process. That is ongoing. Always looking to try to better our equipment, our personal protective equipment, communications, apparatus, fuel, maintenance, all those kind of things that everybody deals with. So we know that, from a fire suppression standpoint, that's something we own independently throughout the city, but we share the responsibility, we believe, in terms of life safety and emergency medical response with the ambulance service. And so we are here seeking a budget request as well. I'm not totally familiar with the system that you would like or the process, so we are just making that blanket request for $25,000 as well that we've had in the past. I went back and tried to find the historical documentation, and our records indicate that in 2009 we received $18,750. In 2010, $35,000. In 2011, $25,000. But to our knowledge, no request was made and no funds were transferred from 2012, 2013, and 2014. So I'm here making that request respectfully, and would be willing to entertain any questions or any kind of process issues you need from me to help make that happen. That's kind of the idea of the visit today, and I appreciate the audience.
Sure. So just a couple questions. I believe we set aside these funds for specifically training, to helping with training for your personnel. Is that correct? Or, I'm just asking.
I think historically we've looked at it in terms of reimbursement for some of the costs that we have, and I would kind of defer to the folks on the EMS side of the table too, but just to somewhat augment some of our costs, whether they be fuel, response hours, training. Now, they do support us with consumables a lot of times in the actual materials and supplies, but also they also augment our training program, sending over some of their subject matter experts to teach some of our ongoing EMS training.
Sure. So I think it's important that, I know you guys, your budget is from the city, and of course our budget is from the county, but I think it's really important that we somewhat mesh, we work together on some of our training, on some of our equipment and supplies, and I know that's probably a tough thing to do, but as budgets are tight these days, we have to do more with less, and and so as we try to think outside the box for our EMS and trying to how to improve services and do other things, I would assume that you guys are looking at some other options too as to how you respond to certain things. And I know one of the issues that everybody has is the towers
Right.
to the east here, and a lot of the calls go there, and so I assume that you guys are looking at some of those things.
Yeah, certainly it's been a pretty hot topic for the last 4 or 5 months for us, and one of the things we've looked at is the need for us in a life-threatening situation. Mm-hmm. And if there are situations where it's not life-threatening, is there an alternative path that can not put people at risk by running emergency response, but also making sure that we keep resources strategically located so that they are available and not taken out of their run box by something that's not a life-threatening response. So that's one of the things we're looking at. We've also, in the last couple of years, actually about 18 months, we've experimented with smaller vehicles that are more efficient, with a smaller crew load. There are positives and negatives with that program. It's kind of ongoing, and it kind of fits to a very specific demographic area where it's effective, most effective. But we're still experimenting with that process as well.
So that's all I had. I'd just like to say thank you for your service, and thank you for your guys' service at Trinity Lutheran the other day, since my kids go there. So anyway, appreciate that.
Being downtown there, not a day goes by we don't have at least 2 or 3 fire engines and ambulances going through. You confused me the other day, though. We had fire engines from the east end going through High Street going west, and I'm like,
sometimes that happens.
I thought everything came from Fire Station number 1, but it was, but you do a good job.
Well, thank you. And one of the things we've worked on recently, I know that as far as you talked about kind of the sometimes the overlap or the making sure we have interoperability is, with AEDs is a good example. We're looking to expand that program. We know that it's very successful. It surprised me, that there weren't more AEDs available in certain areas, especially in city government. So that's one of my big high priority items, and it's something that I'm going to fight for throughout this next budgetary process and even through grants and things like that. But we want to make sure that our pads are able to be integrated into EMS so that if we initiate something with an AED, they can plug right in and do what they need to do with their defibrillators. So we're just talking, we are probably going to be using the same, not only manufacturer, but probably a similar vendor as well. So things like that, we always look to collaborate. And I think we have a pretty positive relationship between the agencies, and we're working to always improve that.
So do you, just out of curiosity and just so that I can understand how our Jeff City Fire Department operates with our county fire districts and some of those, we have a lot of large subdivisions just outside of Jefferson City, and I assume that you have a pretty good relationship with some of those fire districts, and particularly Westview Heights, some of these other areas where we have big calls. Do you guys go beyond that city limit boundary frequently, or I know I've seen you guys out driving outside the city limits in certain areas, but our city limits are kind of odd.
You were at the church farm when that tower, because I saw
Yep.
the JC Fire Department out there, and that's not in city limits.
Yeah, that's an interesting situation. It's funny. We did some research on that, and going back looking at the original agreement dates back many years, but it was before we actually had the state penitentiary and Algoa inside the city limits, and it was any state property was contractually obligated for us to provide fire protection. And so we're looking to find that document and how that works and how that goes forward into the future. But as a state property, we provide fire protection to it. Yeah. And it's very clearly
good to
well
know.
outside
Yeah.
the boundaries of the municipal. But to get back to your question, Commissioner, we do routinely practice automatic and mutual aid, and trying to also do some joint trainings together as we go forward. So I think that's always our goal, in that with mutual aid, we know that there'll be times where we're short, and we know that there'll be times where they need assistance, and that's one thing the fire service has really, I think, done well historically, is be able to help each other out when the need arises. And while there is political boundaries and we respect those jurisdictional boundaries, we're always willing when asked, and even sometimes, automatically when established by agreement to respond.
Good.
It worked very well.
Good.
We come in the city, they come out the city.
Okay, great. I don't have any problems. If we can just get a contract with you guys, Matt, and then I think we can get it approved. And I think we got a sample here, so
Okay.
maybe we can send that to you. And
I don't even know, maybe I have it on my computer.
I think we have had a prior agreement, Debbie, you may help me out on that, something for Jill to review, and then Chief Schofield and his side. But
Well, it's been since 2009 or something like that since we had it,
yeah, it may need to be updated.
so we need to look at it.
Now, this is something I wrote, so I should have it.
Oh, then it's been 2012.
But if it suits both sides,
sure, yeah, we send it to Matt and make sure everything's okay, and then
Michael,
Go
how
ahead and
much
approve it.
quicker are the fire trucks getting there than us now? Because I thought we had a QRV to try to get there and eliminate the need for a large fire truck driving through town and wasting that much resources for this kind of stuff. I was glad to hear that y'all are going to a smaller vehicle responding to that stuff, and I know that's a union thing, saying y'all have to have 2.7 people in a vehicle to drive there and
Well-
blah, 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 but
If possible, I'd like to maybe address that. I think the issue is having the equipment and tools to address the problem, whatever the problem might be. And so our concern is that even though it may be dispatched as a medical emergency, it may be more than that. It may be an industrial accident. It may be there may be some sort of entanglement or entrapment. So we want to make sure we have the tools available to solve the problem. It's always kind of a balancing act of making sure you have the right resources, but trying to get them into a small, efficient package.
if you're
as you
going
can.
to the towers over here though, and somebody fell down in the shower, it's not a,
Typically, that's true.
you're not
Yeah.
gonna need something, well, you need something to extricate them,
Right.
but Not
Yeah.
generally, so. So where are we at with the QRV? I mean, is it, because that was kind of the purpose of that, was to have something there to.
To answer your
eliminate.
question, we have one QRV.
Mhm.
In essence, Jeff City Fire has 5. So we get one call that commits to QRV, another call comes in, we have exhausted that design of the QRV, so hence Jeff City Fire with their strategic locations throughout the city, they have a bit more resources that are strategically located, that it's not beating us there, but it's minimizing the response time. So we have one QRV, they have 5. They have 5 stations throughout the city, so they are 4 more that they have at their disposal that we do not. So to answer your question, when we have one call that the QRV gets committed to, and depending on the geographic location, they send their fire apparatus as well. We could have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more calls that come in all at once or later on that we, other than an ambulance, do not have a QRV to commit, and Jeff City Fire, with their other resources throughout the city, are able to bridge that gap for us, if that makes sense.
Well, it does as far as QRVs, but not the great big fire trucks coming piling through the downtown to get to these.
I am EMS, and I
Responses, so-
can't answer that apparatus question, Jim. That'd be for Chief Schofield specifically.
I can just, and I don't mean to go back to kind of what we said before, but for me, it's having the right people in the right position equipped properly, and equipped properly is the key, so they can deal with almost any type of emergency. And even though you would think that it's typically not going to need all that extra resources on the apparatus, the large apparatus, something as simple as difficulty breathing, or a syncopal episode could be CO related, could be any number of things. It's amazing how much information you don't get on the front end, and it's nothing to diminish the dispatchers or the work that they do in communications. It's just that because time is of the essence, we typically are working under less than ideal information, and so getting there and not being able to address the issue safely is a huge concern for us. And the only way to make sure that we have all the equipment that we need is to send the large apparatus that are prepared for almost anything. So I can tell you it's a terrible experience to arrive on a scene and not have what I need to be able to affect
I can
a positive
understand that.
outcome.
If it was my parents or somebody or family, then I would understand that. You want the best care possible, and time is of the essence. So it's weird seeing a big fire truck coming
Right.
through town, and somebody just fell down and twisted their ankle, and it seems like a really big waste of resources. So, but you don't know that until you get there. I don't know if there's a way to address that or not, but overall, the support services that you all provide, I do appreciate it. I agree with these guys.
And some of them aren't just medical, because like when the facade fell off,
Right.
I mean, you had a couple trucks down there, but you needed something. I mean, that's a 3-story building.
Right.
And then sometimes when the trucks go through, you're sending 2 trucks, and one of them's a ladder truck too. So I'm assuming that's some kind of a structure where
Yeah.
you might possibly need that. So.
Typically for a full box alarm assignment,
Yeah.
we're looking at around 12 people at a minimum, and that goes up from there. But that's actually quite a bit lower than the national standards. They'd be upwards of 16. So we kind of augment that with an additional response once we know we have something that's real and verified. But it is one of those situations. Unfortunately it's manpower intensive. It's expensive. It's an expensive business. Just the idea of very expensive apparatus and a lot of equipment. But unfortunately, that's the business that we're in. And so we want to make sure that they're prepared and equipped to do their job safely and affect a positive outcome.
Jill has an agreement that maybe we can send with you, and you guys
Okay.
can review and run it past Drew or whatever, and then maybe bring that back next week, and then we could approve the agreement if everybody's agreeable there.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chief.
Did you guys look at that agreement with the first responders?
Yep.
Okay. So I move we approve the agreement approve and sign the agreement with the Cole County First Responders.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think you're the only one that's got to sign
Yeah.
it. You just need one copy, one original.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't all ever done one.
Okay.
Now, next
She's already
week, you want
signed it.
us, you need one for the clerk.
Did you already
one
sign
for
it
us.
before we voted again?
Damn it.
Oh,
Goodness.
we got
Sign it before we're voting.
Do we have any unfinished
We'll
business?
catch him one of these days. He's got to tear it up.
Okay, Mike.
Right after he gets done with typing class.
Discussion of EMS capital request for 2015.
I laid a sheet up there that details our capital request for 2015. The first one talks about 2 ambulances. That is pretty much a given. We understand that we're going through the remount process. The second is the monitors, and the third is the ambulance costs. I brought James with me today specifically to discuss the cardiac monitor request. In talking to Chris directly, what I will do is just give a global perspective, and then with James being here, any specific questions, why this, why that, I can defer to James, who would be the technical expert as far as the equipment and the clinical reasons why we are replacing our physios. From a global perspective, the current monitors we have are LifePak 12s. They have reached their end of service life. We are currently, as parts are available, we need a repair, we have a repair agreement, we send them in, we get them repaired. But keep in mind, they don't make the monitors anymore, and we are only at the mercy of what parts are out there. They're not making replacement parts either. So with this being understood, we are asking to phase in and replace our cardiac monitors with 5 this year and 5 next year. The initial cost was gathered in around August, September, when we initially presented our budget request to you. James has some further detailed information on that. From a global perspective, EMS is an extension of healthcare in the county of Cole. We represent St. Mary's, we represent Capital Region, we represent Jeff City Fire, so on and so forth. Our equipment that we use specific to the cardiac monitors are first line and also support. So it's very important that all factors of healthcare, St. Mary's, Capital Region, Jeff City Fire, we're all able to intermingle together and provide that first line care or support ongoing care when we transfer somebody from here to Columbia or Springfield or all points in between. So with that being understood, the County of Cole is a physio system. LifePak 15s is the current monitor that replaces the LifePak 12 that we currently have. So from that perspective, I'll go ahead and hand it over to any questions. James has very detailed information, and instead of flooding you with that information, it would be a lot easier just to be able to answer your questions specific to that, if that is okay.
Got any? You got to type them.
So the packs we've got now are just, I mean, they're at the end of their life.
Yes, correct. We have, I will let James go ahead and take over, but globally, the LifePak 12s we have are at the end of their life. They don't make them, and they don't make any replacement parts other than what's already out there. So let's say we have a monitor and something breaks, the part is not there to replace it. That monitor is unrepairable.
Gentlemen, the pack I handed you guys, the first few pages that you'll see, is a letter of intent and support from both our medical director for purchase of the LifePak monitors, and also another device called the Lucas compression device, which I will talk to about later if you guys have any questions. The second letter is from Jeff Emke. He is the ER physician director for Capital Region ER. As Mike pointed out, switching monitors is a big deal, especially here in Cole County, as we all have a collaborative agreement with St. Mary's and with Capital Region, with the first responders, with Jeff City Fire. We all try to use parts that are cooperative, that work with each other. For instance, when the first responders use their AEDs. Their equipment is able to work with ours. We just unplug their equipment, plug it directly into ours. Everything works exactly how it's supposed to. While we transport over to the hospital, when we get to the hospital, our equipment unplugs from our system, plugs directly into theirs. Everything is compatible. Keeping that system compatible throughout the entire county is vital in our care. Not only is it just equipment on the front end, such as paddles and equipment, but we also have software equipment, transmission equipment that goes from EMS, from the ambulance service, all the way up to both hospitals. Both hospitals have also renegotiated and signed their contract with a system from Physio called LifeNet, which allows us to transmit our EKGs from the field to the hospital so the physicians see what we see on our monitor. That way we can help our patients out, especially when it comes to chest pain and MI, all the way up to any other type of cardiac dysrhythmias that we have.
I need more
On the
pictures,
back.
I don't like reading.
On the back page, which is the very base numbers, which the very few numbers that you guys really kind of care about. I have 3 vendors. These are the 3 major vendors of cardiac monitors. You have Physio, you have Philips, and you have Zoll. As you can see, they're all very close comparable. You'll see that Philips is the cheapest system by roughly about $4,000 to $5,000. That is because we are not comparing apples to apples with them. They are missing a $5,000 piece of equipment from their monitor. So looking at both Zoll and Physio, which can do basically the same things, Physio is the cheapest option available, and that is the option that both hospitals, fire department, and first responders are all compatible with. Moving over to the right side, you'll see that we have a service contract option in there. What a service contract is this is very easily confused with a warranty, which this is not a warranty. When it comes to a service contract, as you guys need to understand that when it comes to our cardiac equipment, we just can't,
Back
Which
page,
page are we on?
very last page,
Bad
the numbers.
All right, I'll still try and read through some of this other
Okay.
stuff.
At the very end, our service contract, what that does is their service techs come down, service our monitors to make sure everything is calibrated, is working properly. As you guys, gentlemen, can guess, this equipment, this machine must work properly each and every time. So it's vital that we have a nice contract where they come down and check this out. The state also requires that we do an annual inspection on this equipment. That is included with that. So looking at that, the service contract for 1 year is roughly $1,400. That service contract covers 2 batteries and them coming down and checking our equipment out, which is pretty much a great deal. They also extend that out to a 5-year contract, which saves us money over the long run. That is roughly a $6,400 purchase for each monitor. Again, for 5 years, by the time that you factor in parts, equipment, mileage, service, all of that kind of stuff, it is a very, very good deal. It'd be hard pressed to say that you'll come out ahead not purchasing this equipment, purchasing the service contract. As Mike says, the equipment's old. The LifePak 12s that we purchased were put out in mid to late 90s. The equipment to repair it is no longer made. The only way we can get equipment now is pretty much LifePak taking parts off of old monitors and fixing them up if they don't have those parts in service. One of the problems we have right now is the old pulse oxes, which we use all the time. Part of that is no longer made. They're out. We had to switch over to a different brand, which was more expensive in the long run. But again, they no longer make those parts. So our LifePaks, our old 12s, they're getting very difficult to repair now.
Go ahead, Chris, I'm sorry.
Can you talk a little bit about, so I'm following everything and then I get to this Lucas.
The Lucas is another product
Okay.
that I'd like to bring up. The Lucas device is the easiest way of kind of thinking about this is a manual CPR compression device, or it's a automatic compression device. It looks kind of funny. I can just kind of show you guys a rough picture, but what this allows us to do is we put this piece of equipment on our patient, and it does CPR for us.
Okay.
Now, when we're talking about CPR, to adequately do CPR, we have to push about 125 pounds on someone's chest to adequately compress it to at least 2 inches per AHA recommendations. I challenge you guys to be able to do that on the average of 37 minutes that it takes for us to get on scene to transport a patient to the hospital. 37 minutes. This does not also, you also have to think of every second that you have the hands off the chest not doing CPR, the patient is not getting better. The patient is going to get worse and worse and worse. So if we transfer them to a cot, we go down a set of stairs, we put them in an ambulance, those patients are not getting CPR or are not getting adequate CPR. So this device, we can strap it on, hit the go button, and it takes care of CPR for us. It will not tire, it will not fatigue, it will do exactly what it's supposed to do from the time we turn it on to the time we turn it off. I have letters of recommendation from both our medical director and from Capital Region for these devices, for both the monitor and the Lucas device.
So is there a maintenance contract on the Lucas devices then as well? Or?
Currently, right now, no. They're fairly simple pieces of equipment, and usually whenever they'll come in and do our monitors, we'll just have them do that also at the same time.
Okay.
It's not cheap saving lives, is it?
No, it's not. It is not. As you can see, I've got it broken down into several different ways here. With our phase, looking at 5 monitors right now off the bat will cost us roughly almost $160,000. If we decide to add the service contracts, you can see those numbers there to the far right. If you look down below with the Lucas, for the total complete project cost, we definitely have to have 10. We must have 10. That's the bare minimum of both monitors and Lucas devices that we can use, but we need truly 14. 14 monitors, because we also need to put one in to our QRV. We also need a few also for training and for backup in case anything goes down. We can grab another monitor, just pull it off the shelf. The Lucas, we need 11 of those, 10 for the trucks, 1 for the QRV, and you can see the final cost for that. You'll notice in between there is a trade-in value. Physio will buy back our 10 monitors that we currently own. They'll give us $5,000 a piece for those, so we can recoup $50,000 for those at the very end. I do not recommend turning those monitors in until we completely phase out the 12s.
Okay. So, so I see your phase for the first 10. So 5 cardiac monitors and 15, 5, and 16. Where do these Lucas compression
units come in? The Lucas devices
in?
I left completely separate.
Okay.
As we did not truly discuss that before.
Okay.
But it is certainly a product that we are definitely needing. This year would be great, but we are going to have to purchase these sooner.
So we do not have
We do
anything
not
like
have
that
this.
at this time?
No, we do not. And this is not a product that is exclusive. Callaway County carries these. Osage County carries these. So throughout mid-Missouri, rural Missouri, many services carry these. It is just we have not gotten to this yet.
So a couple other questions. We've already agreed to remount 2 of the ambulances, and I see here we're talking approximately $90,000 on the remount, but I think it came in at what, 97? Was that about right, Mike?
Yeah, the initial request was 200.
Right.
Keeping it conservative as possible. 97, 98 would be a fair statement for 2015. Where they go up in price is emission changes and some other things of that nature with diesels being hot in the spotlight. But 97 to 98 is a very safe bet currently, yes.
And then the ambulance cot and mounting upgrades, is that just for 2?
No, from our initial discussion, we had talked about the ability to use those cots in every ambulance, so all the mounting hardware and everything in all the ambulances. And moving the 2 cots to 3 cots. We had talked about that in August and September. Your recommendation, Chris, was to, instead of 2, get 3, and we would put them in the most frontline, if you will, ambulances, and then phase in the rest as the years progress.
So it would be 3 cots.
Yep.
And then the mounting hardware for all the ambulances?
All 10, yes, sir.
Okay,
So we would get 3 this year, 3 next year.
3 next year.
Yep.
Okay. And then, I guess that was one of my other things here, and so I know you've kind of thrown this Lucas thing on us too, but I guess I would kind of like to see, and then Mr. Camp has done this for our buildings and stuff, but if you had a 3-year plan, and I mean, you already got a 2-year plan on some of this, so I would assume that you're going to want 4 more cardiac monitors in 17 to get you to 14. And then maybe some of how we're just going to phase this in, and if you had kind of a wish list, and we prioritize that on how we're going to come and take care of that. And so I assume besides all this stuff, maybe you got some other stuff that you're looking at in the future too.
From a big ticket equipment standpoint, the cardiac monitors, the fleet, and the ambulance cots. From a big ticket, oh my God, what's the most expensive? We are segueing from, we've already got the building done. The fleet, we are now progressing to remount. So the big tickets items you see in front of you, the monitors and the cots, that are the largest as priority what we need to address. So as the years progress and we get the cots and the monitors phased in, I don't foresee, unless anybody corrects me, anything substantially large coming in other than just trivial equipment. And I say that respectfully. Nothing as big ticket as this. We have our base taken care of. We have our dispatch center taken care of. The fleet, now we're...
What about like tough books and different things as far as upgrading some of them? And I just think from my perspective is that we try to phase all this stuff in, it doesn't hit us all at once, and so...
Right. Tough books, the segue for that is iPads, which would be substantially cheaper than what we have now. So, not to put a 100% guarantee on anything, but as far as the larger big ticket items, from 2009 to now, 5 years, we have invested a substantial portion of monies into the higher priority items. So now, for lack of a better term, we are on the downhill slide. I know that may be a bit tough to understand, but once we start phasing the cots and the monitors in, other than trivial things, I do not foresee any large-esque items that would present themselves.
Okay. So...
Debbie, did you have?
I was just gonna say, maybe other than restationing the ambulance at different areas.
Yeah,
at some
you know,
point.
operational things, personnel, stuff like that, but as far as capital equipment, we have crested the mountain. We segue now, where do we go from here is personnel, stations, coverage, things of that nature. And also with James's work with engaging the manufacturers, medical equipment, different parts of it is sole source. We sole sourced this last go around in 2009, and please remember this physio would also be sole source as well. And Jennifer, if you need to speak to that, go right ahead, but just to make you aware of that, you go directly to the manufacturer for these pieces of equipment.
So I'm not inclined to do a sole source bid. I'm inclined to bid it with the recommendation of a physio, LifePak 15 per optional equipment or equal. And, we've had this discussion. I mean, if I'm not saying I'm going to take the cheapest, but I'm going to take what's best for our operation and for our community and taking the hospitals into play. But I think we just throw it out there like we've done with the ambulances, and we've always, we haven't necessarily we've taken the best bid. That's not always the least expensive bid, but it's the best bid. And so, I mean, unless you guys got a a problem with doing that. I mean, I don't,
There's no problem, but as far as vendors, and Jennifer, help me out, Physio does not use Acme Distributing, or they themselves have territory managers and sellers that sell this equipment. So in order to solicit an RFP or a bid, you're gonna get it directly from the manufacturer and no one else.
You're gonna get one bid per brand
That's it.
from the direct manufacturer. Physio.
And forgive me, but the prices you have in front of you are current and up to date and followed that normally established route. So these numbers you have in front of you, that James has solicited, followed the route that we have available to us, that Jennifer just expounded upon.
The extra bids. I don't know, I need a bigger desk.
so,
And more pictures.
so we already have bid it then?
Yes.
We publicly bid it?
Not a public bid, no.
Okay. So,
We can have, okay, Jennifer, here's the stuff, she can do her thing, but in order.
is any of this gonna change?
Unless, yeah, no, and that's why I'm saying, we're gonna do double work here, and that's fine, we have to follow whatever restraints we have and conditions, but FYI, the groundwork's already done.
Right, so they can just
There's no
submit it again?
distributors from the-
Yeah, this
it's
is
direct from the
specialized,
manufacturer.
Okay.
So it's not like,
You're,
All of those are sole sourced,
yeah.
Okay.
all monitors.
Does that make sense, Chris?
Well, I'm just,
Yes or no?
yes.
Okay.
I mean, can she bid it as this or equal, and we're gonna get all these bids?
You're
No.
gonna get the same thing that you
Okay.
have now.
And then it's gonna come back to us, and we can make a decision, and we've complied with all the bid requirements and everything else.
so we can put it out that way.
Okay? Perfect. And so I don't have any problems with your capital requests. I'd just like to see them all be bid. And then we can make a decision. I say we go ahead and bid these Lucas things, these compression units. And then we take a look at what we want to spend this year, and, because it looks to me like if we do a trade and maybe we add 5 Lucas units, we're still under this $218,000. Is that correct, kinda?
I recommend not doing a trade until everything is traded.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But, so that's kinda where I'm at, Jeff. Sam?
Debbie, where's our capital improvements? What did we have? I'm trying to find it on our budget worksheets.
We had, excluding the vehicles, we had 500,000.
For 15, 2015?
And EMS sales tax.
We had, that was over top of the remounts?
Yes.
Okay, that's more than I was thinking. I didn't think we had that much in there, so.
And again, it was just a place figure amount, it wasn't approval to buy anything, and that's what he's doing here today. Is basically getting approval to buy, or to go to bid.
Yeah, and I have a horribly stupid question. We are taking the phased-in approach, but if we find that we get greater concessions with an all-out purchase, are you all willing to entertain that?
I'll entertain anything. I might still say no.
As long as you'll entertain
I'm
it.
just
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, it better be a heck of a savings though for us to take it all all at the same time in 1 year.
No, I understand.
One
I'm
budget.
just throwing that.
And with
out
that,
there.
or the ambulance, I know we had them phased in on a schedule. If we skip a year and we don't remount this year, is that gonna terribly hurt the fleet, put them out of
With
any kind of cycle?
Yes, we have followed 2 a year for the past 5 years.
Right.
And because we have adhered to that with no change in direction, we have a safe fleet. The maintenance costs have went dramatically down. Chris, you know that, Jeff, obviously. If we choose to skip and cut a corner specific to the fleet, I do not recommend that. With the mileage and the patient-loaded miles and everything we do with those ambulances, we have to maintain 2 replacements a year.
Okay, that was my question. I'm
Yep.
just asking. I mean, we're not gonna cut corners. I'm saying, does it have to happen? Sometimes you don't get as much wear and tear on there as
No.
you assume when we were first doing this, putting them on a cycle
I
and
understand.
phasing
No,
them in and out.
I would not recommend skipping.
All right, on the cots, was that all this year? We're doing all of them this year? I think Chris asked her.
There's
We
three
are
cots plus
doing-
10 hardware for 10.
Hardware for 10, so you can use them in any truck, but 3 cots right now.
So it'll be duplicate hardware in some of them, just to understand. I mean,
What we'll do
so the
is-
old cots will mount to the new hardware,
The
or
new hardware we're gonna get, we're gonna be able to use the old cots
okay,
and the new cots.
okay,
So as we phase in the new ones, we can still use the old ones.
Now to the compression systems, that's the Lucas things, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Said, you want 11 total?
Yes, sir.
How many this year?
If we can get 5, that would be great.
And 6 is what you'd be asking for next year?
Yes.
Is that something that you can have in an ambulance that are, I guess, in remote areas? And then maybe the ones that are closer to town have one also in the QRV, and then if you know you're gonna have stairs or somewhere that you're gonna need it,
Yes,
the
that's the plan.
QRV can do it, so we can do it, maybe you take 3 or 4, as opposed to having 11 of them. There's just a lot of cost involved here, James. It's spending a lot of money.
I understand.
And we're telling a lot of people no on a lot of other things, so I know this is,
This is completely different, Jeff, and respectfully stated, this, and I'm being respectful when I say this, this is life and death. And I say this with the utmost respect. Healthcare is not cheap, and when we present this to you, it is not something we do unheartedly. We are asking for this equipment for the outcome of patients that we serve and the money that they pay in taxes. And I say that with the utmost respect.
yeah, I understand, but we could also have Lamborghinis responding to the sites and getting there a lot faster too, but we've got to kind of draw a line somewhere. So how many do we want to get at a time?
We are recommending
What kind of
11
equipment?
total, and
I know.
we phase that in according to the budget.
So if we do 5, you can kind of come back and give us a report.
Correct.
We'll have a bid, and I would bid it, with the price break. If they have a price break for multiple units or something, there's some significant savings there.
We are going to present you, Jennifer and her work with all at once and then phased in.
Okay.
And we will go and move according to the budget. But you will know each number, all now or phased in, if that's appropriate.
Good by me.
Yeah, I think those are important. I really do.
I think it's all important.
Yeah.
It's just, what can you keep writing checks for? And we're spending a lot of money here and just trying to get a grasp on it. So, I'm gonna hold you to the fire, Michael.
Understood, sir. That's what you're for, and I respect that, Jeff.
I don't have a problem getting them bid. We can always say no, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, if that's just what you're asking for, is to get them bid,
Yes, to move forward.
knock yourselves out. Tell them to sharpen their pencils, because you got some commissioners up here that are pretty tight.
If necessary, we'll bring them up to you, and you put them under fire as well.
That'd be, yeah.
We're gonna have to cut the collector off or something, He hadn't said a word yet. They were trying to get him started up.
Which might be good.
All right, yeah.
So the direction is to go ahead and bid out the monitors and the Lucas, and then also the cots and the remounting. Is that fair?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't have a problem bidding them at all, and we can look at how many we want to do then. I want to relook at our capital budget too. I kind of got refreshed my memory on that one, so I apologize.
Once Jennifer gets the figures together, we'll hook up with her and we'll bring it back to you.
Perfect.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
No, thanks for all the information.
Thank you, Jeff. And
Thanks,
Chris,
Mike.
thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
James, these were the bids for just the, or is this everything?
That is everything.
Okay.
And we're going to table the second and final readings of budget adjustment 1 and 2 until next week. Discussion of county-owned property.
Let's move that and take care of some of the people that are here and
Okay.
try to get them out of here. Sorry, Larry.
You almost made it.
Well, Bighorn Drive, you want to wait on that
Yeah,
too? And do
yes.
Christie?
Yep.
Good morning.
Hi, Christie.
Mark?
So I think as part of our 2015 budget, the health department asked for replacement of one of our vehicles. So we, today I just want to seek approval for you to concentrate with one dealership and try to make a deal on the Chevy Silverado. We looked at the MoDOT bid, we visited all the dealerships, and the Silverado, we want to go with the 6-cylinder, and I was thinking that we would go with the package they had, but I'm thinking we could get it cheaper if we just picked out the few specific things we wanted, like the locking tailgate. That's why we could put a tonneau cover on the tailgate to lock and a few other things like that. And I want to, they have a 2-year maintenance contract for $180, and I want to see how that compares to getting our oil changes and such with Public Works. So I guess today I'm just seeking approval to work with that one dealership specifically and try to get the best deal that we can based on the MoDOT contract.
We're gonna bid them out, don't we?
Yeah, it's under state
Yeah, we're-
contract.
Purchasing off of the MoDOT contract.
What-
Oh, it is
It's been
state.
essentially bid out.
Is it-
Okay.
So are we working with a local dealer or?
The dealer that got the contract from MoDOT is Putnam in California.
Okay.
I think we
And-
were approved for 25, but I
25,
will do
yeah,
the
that's
best I
what
can to
you're-
get it
yeah.
as cheapest as possible.
And so, I know we talked about 2 vehicles, we talked about maybe only doing one.
So we were just going to do one this year, and we were going to trade in the white Escape, and they offered us $4,500 for it, which is a very fair price compared to the other 2 dealerships. And when I looked at Kelley Blue Book, the value for fair condition, which it's in fair condition, is anywhere from 43 to 53. So 45 is a fair price.
Okay. And so, what are we looking, you said a Silverado, or are we looking at
The
4-wheel
crew-
drive?
4-wheel drive,
Okay.
the crew cab, the
Crew cab.
6-cylinder. We're trying to maximize our gas mileage. Apparently for Dodge, you have to pay extra for the 6-cylinder. On the fleet, they come with the V8 Hemi. I'm a little worried about gas mileage with that, so we're going to go with the 6-cylinder.
Okay. So is the, just so that I know, is the crew cab, is that similar to what the sheriff has?
Exactly.
Okay. And so it's not a full-size
It
rear
is.
seat?
It is a full-size rear seat. The extended cab would be the smaller rear seat with like the suicide doors, but this is the full 4-door, full back seat.
Okay. I guess I'm not familiar, but I think the sheriff's are 4 doors, but it's a small back seat.
No.
This is a full size.
I've been in.
Yes, okay. So I just didn't know, I mean, different companies have different
Right.
ways
I know.
it's not an extended, it's not a crew, I don't
It
know
is.
what they call, I mean, I don't know what the
They are the
sheriff's.
crew cabs. The sheriff's is a crew cab. Chevy just offers like extended cab, which has the doors that open this way, or the 4 crew cabs. And this is the crew cab.
Okay. Is the back seat big enough that I can get in it?
Yes.
The sheriff's is not.
The sheriff's is not.
No. There's no way I could get in that back seat. That's 4 doors,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no way I'm getting in the back seat. So I have a Chevy with 4 doors and I can sit in the back seat. So
Okay.
I'm just saying there's somewhere there's a difference. So
There must be a difference, but I didn't
Okay.
think Chevy offered a smaller one with 4
4-wheel drive,
doors.
crew
So.
cab, 6-cylinder, state bid. We're doing one vehicle. Okay.
So after I get it negotiated, the cheapest price we can, we'll bring it back for your signature. I just wanted your permission to work with that one dealership specifically.
They have state contract. I don't have a
Yeah,
problem
it's
with that.
MoDOT bid.
And then, are you gonna come back and ask for tonneau cover, certain things like that as well, or?
We probably will ask for a tonneau cover, but the one I have in mind is about $200.
Okay. Anybody else?
When you're asking for the cover, is that gonna be under the 25 that we budgeted?
I think that we could probably take that out of something else if we don't have it in the 25. I will try to get it in the 25.
Tell them they gotta throw the tonneau, whatever you call it. Tell them they gotta throw the cover in with it.
I don't know if they sell them there.
I'll go negotiate it. I don't care.
Okay.
It's a deal breaker.
All right.
It's a $200 cover. They can probably get it for $100 and tell them throw it in.
We'll try.
We'll send Jeff out to negotiate if they won't.
I'm good with you moving forward, so.
I have too.
Do you care what color we get? I've heard different
I think we
things
should
about
something
that.
pretty red.
Red? Okay.
Camouflage.
We can put a camouflage bug shield on. Thank you.
I don't care. Something that's guaranteed to stay clean without car washes.
White actually works better on that, but, okay, we're gonna, what else we got here?
Can I do mine real quick?
Yes.
Yes, Dale.
This is just a annual maintenance renewal for Real Vision, $4,500. It hasn't changed since I've been here. Once again, I'm using the age-old story of, I hope this is the last year, but this is what allows people to look at all the scanned images on the AS400. And if we don't have it, we can't. A lot of people use it yet, so we're still got to have it. So we haven't run into a problem. We've lost ability to look at 200 million record miles. So anyway, like I said, it hasn't changed. They never raise it and doesn't go down either. But anyway, that's the deal.
Okay.
So anybody have a question on that?
Jill, did you have a chance to look at it? It's good. Okay.
So we need a signature,
Yeah.
and this is for Real Vision software.
Yeah.
So I move we approve and sign the Real Vision software annual agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. How may I sign it?
Now you can sign it, Sam.
Why not? You're supposed
That
to
would
keep
call
us
roll
legal.
then.
That's fine, you already did it.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you.
I see Michael there. What's,
Signing of Secure Tech.
oh, don't know? Okay. Yes.
I've got a service agreement for the Datum storage unit, which is off-site storage, the shelving unit. The agreement is for an annual just service, basically just maintenance, and then
Which one are we on now? Because I just went to the next one in line, and that was the
Secure Tech.
We skipped the Datum mobile filing system.
that is it.
That is it.
Datum.
Okay.
I've got Secure Tech Systems and Maintenance on my list next.
No,
after
we
Real
moved that,
Vision.
we moved that to next week.
Didn't have.
Yeah, that's moved to next week.
That's moved to next week.
Okay, go ahead. I don't have a clue where we're at on this.
You probably do not have a copy of this.
Okay.
Well, we're jumping around is where I'm trying to figure out
Yeah.
where we're at on the, I don't want.
Chris
paper.
said we
I
should,
got this.
Chris said we should cover the people
That's
that
fine,
are
I just wanna know
here.
where we're at.
$500 for, it's built into
Because
the
I'm opening
budget.
up the next file, and
I
that's
just
not
need
the
a
one
signature
we
on the
need.
service agreement that allows them to come out annually to make sure that the Datum storage unit is maintained properly.
I did just look at it.
Doesn't include.
Is it good?
Yeah, other than they have the party is Cole County CERT South Ridge Drive. And this is not the CERT team. I think I'd just mark out the CERT South Ridge Drive and initial that, your changes.
So what is it?
It's just a maintenance agreement on that, the
The
movable
Datum. Yes.
shelving,
Yes.
right?
$500.
$500.
It's in your it's in your budget
It is.
To do what?
to maintenance on that roller.
So they go in
that
and
roller-
grease and oil the
Yes, once a year,
rollers?
and then they'll come out, if there's any problems, they'll come out and determine what that is.
Okay.
So we don't have a grease gun?
I don't know anything about it.
I'm just curious
I
what it
understand.
incorporates for $500.
I would assume that they make sure that it's on track, you know, that it's not off, you know, that everything's working properly. I don't have the experience to do
I
that,
don't
but I
either.
mean, I know where you're coming from.
Now, I know it's only $500, but it's,
Yeah.
It's just $400 is what this is.
if it's off track, you're gonna know it's off track.
Well, right. But I mean, then if something gets bent or something, then, yeah.
Compared
It's
to
to clean it
capital that
from
we've
dust. I
outlaid,
mean,
that's
we've got
cheap.
paper products out there. So once a year, they'll come in and do a service maintenance on it. And then if there is any problems with it, they will come out without a service fee, but they will determine what needs to be fixed on it. It doesn't include prices or parts or fixing of anything. It's just basic maintenance. $500 annually.
She has the money in her budget, it's just a matter of signing the agreement.
You can take that from the collective budget also, Jeff.
Hey, you heard him. I'm not picking on you, I'm just picking on these kinds of things. Chris is usually one picking on
You're a good man.
service contracts, and so today,
So,
Ralph was sitting there being quiet too, wasn't
Ralph just left.
he? Just up to about half.
I
would be
move we
good.
approve and sign the service
That's
contract.
good. Thanks. I'll second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call.
Sam,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Chris,
So you need customer signature.
All right, now it's back.
Chris.
Yes.
There you go.
Sorry.
Now which one are we going to?
Thank you.
I think we're on to Secure Tech here.
And they have postponed and they're going to come the next week. Donnie had something,
Okay.
so.
Oh,
New.
New World.
New World
New World.
Software. Who's,
Well, we do have our annual maintenance ends the end of March 31st. They have sent us a new maintenance agreement for the new year. We hope to add a tune of close to $60,090.
Okay.
Because we are going to be going live with our new software, BSNA, sometime in the middle of June. I think our recommendation is that we do not do a maintenance agreement with New World starting in April, that we just wing it until we go live in June.
We're gambling today. All right.
I want to make sure everybody's in agreement with that, so I'm going to let the auditor speak to
So
that.
normally, we rely on that maintenance to get like year-end updates and the information for tax files, W-2s, 1099s, and things like that. We will be on the new system when we do that information for 2015. So we do not see, hopefully, there being any issues with New World for that short period of time that we would need a maintenance contract. And we think it would be silly to spend almost $60,000 for April, May, and half of June.
I'm good with the recommendation.
recommendation, yeah.
What else could happen? Well, what else does it cover? It just covers the updates?
And anything, if we have problems, there's a 1-800 number we can call. If for some reason I can't get payroll to post or something.
Okay, if you can't get payroll to post on April 30th and you call them and we're not covered, what's that gonna cost us?
Probably an hourly fee. I would assume.
Probably an hourly fee, but I can't imagine that we would use the hourly fee enough to get to $60,000.
The last time I checked, the hourly fee was like $150 an hour, so. And any problem that we have had over the past 3 years has been solved within an hour. Would you say that's true? So we haven't really had the history of having many issues, and that's why Christian said the upgrades are what we really rely on for, that we won't need those for that time period. We'll need it by the end of the year, but again, we'll be on the new system by then.
Quit talking.
Oh, sorry.
You're okay. Yes,
I
that
like-
was my question, was what, if we're gonna be, even if it's a small fix that we have to have, or we.
And we did try to get them to prorate
Yes, we did.
the contract, and we
We're
would do
fine.
a
We can-
monthly amount, and they would not do it. It was
We're not gonna
annual
need
fee
to
or nothing.
updates, so.
I like saving money.
Okay. Stringer van.
Okay,
Did we approve that? to not
Do-
sign it,
do
or
we-
we just don't do any
Do we
no
need,
action,
we
then
just,
All right.
I just want you to be
Michael.
aware of it.
Last week, our van would not start, so we had a mechanic from BMW Battery come out and take a look at it. And he took a look at it and told us that our van is no longer, our engine's out. We got a thrown rod. So I called Chris and I told him the issue. He wanted me to go and get the fair market value on that van and see what it would be to replace an engine in there. I went to 3 places here. I actually contacted 4 places here in town. Shepherd's, which we have a contract with, and they said that they don't have the equipment in order to pull an engine the size of a vehicle that we have, and they don't have that expertise. So he said you need to go to.
They can do everything else bigger.
Well, they don't do small.
No.
So I went and got the fair market value. If you look at the Kelley Blue Book, it goes from $39.88 down to up to $45.69. That van's in good shape. It's a 2002. We just put new tires on it. Inside is no issue, rusting. It may be a little small one over the wheel well, but that's just a small little piece. We know what the issues are. So I went and contacted 3 entities. B&W said $4,800, and that included an installation kit, which is in part of that $4,800 is $350. It's a 3-year, 100,000-mile warranty. S&S $4,700 with the same installation kit, 3-year, 100,000-mile. And Rollins said for $4,500 they would do new radiator and installation kit, 3 years, 100,000 miles. After the first 500, we must go back in and do an oil change, and everyone has said that they would not charge labor, but just the cost of the oil. Rollins said it would be $20 for us to get that oil change, and that is in order to maintain the warranty for the 3 years, 100,000 miles.
Is this that van you used to take the kids to school?
Yes.
That I saw that one morning?
That one, or we use it for, yes.
Okay.
It's for kid transport.
Transportation.
We have a white
Yeah.
van and we have a gray van. This is our gray 2002 Windstar. And by the way, it only has 52,800 miles on it. It does not go out of town. It's an in-town car, so it takes those short trips, which is not real good on engines, that you don't get it really out on the road and blow it out. No rust, just no rust. That would have any bearing on this vehicle. So I would recommend that we replace the engine than spending $20,000 to $22,000 for a new van, and it would meet the needs that we have here.
Michael, what'd you say the miles were on it?
It is 52,700. I rounded it out at
That's fine.
53,000.
And you got new tires? Did you
We
say you
got
put new tires
yes,
on it
uh-huh.
too?
And then when they take that off, I'm going to ask them to take my starter back off, because we just put a new starter on there last 2 weeks ago. So we can just put that on the shelf in case it goes out again. We got a starter to go with that.
So, one of the things, the reason I asked Michael to get the blue book on it was because I was afraid that the van was worth $5,000, and here we're going to spend $5,000 on an engine, and so, yeah, it has low mileage. Maybe it is in pretty good shape, but for me, it's kind of a wash here because, I don't know what you're going to get for if we were to buy, and I'm not for buying a new van. I'm for buying a used van. And so my threshold would probably be that $5,000 to $10,000 mark, but you never know what you're going to get for $5,000 to $10,000. But if we were to go and replace the engine, I'd probably be apt to run the thing till the wheels fall off and junk it. But
I bet if you bought one for $5,000 or $10,000, it's going to have more miles than what this one has.
It
All
might.
of the engines.
Right, but or it might be older. I mean, 2002,
Yeah.
that's 13 years old.
Right.
So,
But we're giving it a new heart, at the same
Yeah.
time, so it would be
Well,
going
you're
a lot.
giving it the heart, but that doesn't mean that the transmission or
Right.
something else
Yes.
doesn't go wrong. But
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's just a gamble that you take with anything too. So
I would recommend, if you're asking for recommendations, I would look at the Rollins because they're looking at giving us a new radiator, the installation kit and all, and it's still cheaper than the other two at $4,500.
He does most of our sheriff's vehicles.
Yes, he
too.
does.
He's,
And I said,
we have a good relationship.
I asked him, why are you so much
We have a
cheaper?
good relationship with
You know,
Rollins.
he says, hey,
Just-
I don't need the markup.
Yeah.
if I'm not trying to take anything away from Greg, but the sheriff does do a lot of work, he does a lot of work for the sheriff. And if we do this 4,500, does that 90 days come into play?
His sheriff's has already been negotiated, so we can
Okay, so all his stuff has already been bid?
Right.
Okay.
His services are bid already.
Okay, I was just curious. I didn't know that was bid. Has that ever come to us?
You did that.
I don't know. Think that it has.
So it's just phone bids or,
No, I think they actually do paper bids, but I'm not sure they brought it before you.
It's an unlimited renewable.
so is there a contract on that?
We don't do it, Jennifer hasn't done it, they do it in-house themselves.
So it's not, so does that count?
If they did it, they did it, yeah. Predates me.
What do you guys want to do?
I like
Kick it
Rollins.
till next month?
What? I didn't hear that.
I said punt and kick it till next month.
No, if it's not working, I mean, we need to.
He's got the other vehicles there. He's getting along just fine. Teasing you, Michael.
To the fleet last year.
But that was a car, not a transport
That's that
for
Impala
kids.
that's,
It was the sheriff's.
that,
It-
yeah, that
yes.
Impala that's there. You can't really take kids to school in that or
It'd be multiple trips doing it.
we put a
in
couple in
that
the
vehicle.
trunk maybe, but.
You're streaming live here, Sam. Sam Bushman.
But I'm just
said,
saying, no, I think
"Put
we
kids
need,
in the trunk."
I think we need to go ahead and get it fixed, I think.
I'll put that on Twitter.
Someone appreciates my sense of humor.
Can I give you this? Okay.
I still like porta potties. for
Yeah,
the-
there you go.
for the-
And they believed you.
I know.
Jeff?
Have we priced a used van, new used van, newer used van?
I was looking at some stuff here just real quick. I mean, but
I was
you
looking
know,
at the.
40,000 miles. There's a 12 Honda Odyssey.
How did we
That's
blow up a
30
motor with
grand.
52,000 miles on it? Were they racing that thing through town?
No, it was.
I drive like crazy and I have not blown up, but maybe one
It's
truck
a,
and it had
it's a rod
200,000
knocking in
miles
the
on it.
engine.
It's a what?
It's a rod knocking in the engine.
So is it something that
I'm
we just
hard on vehicles,
failed
and I don't
to
tear 'em up like
check
that.
the oil
No,
regularly?
we
or?
do it on a regular basis. It's been maintained, not an issue. Matter of fact, it was just seen a week and a half prior with the new starter on it, and went out 2 weeks later to start it up. It wouldn't start. Got the mechanic to come down. He got it started, and they started knocking the wall of the engine with the rod.
That's Ford for you.
We just got a lemon. It's
Should've got Dodge. So if we fix the engine, we're gonna keep it for about 10 years.
I think he's gonna drive it till it
I need a seating.
dies.
There's no
Commercial
rust
vehicles
on
like
it
to
or
be the
anything,
seating.
so it's all, I haven't seen it.
New tires, it's,
No, it's just like a utility van, a commercial.
It's just, it kills me. I mean, $4,000 vehicle and you're gonna spend $4,800 on an engine, but, I mean, sometimes it's just the way you do it, but I mean, it's.
well, it's still
just
cheaper
from-
than going out and buying another new van.
Well, yeah, in the short term,
I don't wanna decide today, I wanna make a couple phone calls.
Okay.
Because I don't know.
We put it back on next week's agenda.
Yeah, are you gonna be able to survive?
I'm
We gotta
I'm
get
living
something.
along now, and I can survive another week.
Okay.
Yes.
That thing's got such low miles on it, it's just
Yeah.
still, that just, it is what it is.
So your other van, you can use
I'm
that.
still
to-
using
you
that,
can do
yes.
that to,
I'm
to
just,
take your kids and.
Alright, if you're okay waiting until next week's meeting. let's do
okay,
that.
fine. Also, I'm just gonna submit my long-range plans for the Pringer Center. I
Great.
gave Debbie copies, so that
Thank you, Michael.
you can have that. Okay.
Okay, what do we got?
Oh, you want to do the reading of budget adjustment
fine.
number 3?
Okay, this is
Then we'll go back up.
$5,562.57. No action today. It's the LEPC money that we have already received for this year that we didn't budget for, so
Okay, 10 days, right?
that's right.
Okay. Now we can go back to our discussion of city-owned properties,
County-owned
or
property.
county-owned property.
Okay, so we had a Parks meeting last week, and I'd also met with Larry and Larry on some of these properties. And so, just a general discussion today is we have 2 properties in Osage City, and they're technically a park, even though there's really nothing there. And then Bighorn Drive, we have a lot adjacent to that roundabout. And then Wren's Lake is another property that we also have. And so I would like to at least discuss the possibility of selling these properties so that we don't have to maintain them in the future. The Bighorn Drive, like I said, it's a lot adjacent to another house that we just basically mow the grass. There's no benefit to us. You couldn't ever build on it.
Did we buy that one with
Yes.
the right of way?
We had to take a house down right there.
Okay.
So maybe we want to talk about these individually. I don't know, but
I would venture to say individually, because there are gonna be different circumstances with each one of them.
okay.
So,
We actually have another property out at the corner of Frog Hollow and Rock Ridge. But until that job is constructed, I would rather hang on to that.
Okay.
if we're done with the one out there at Bighorn, it doesn't make sense to keep it if we're not gonna use it for anything. Maybe the owners
Property owner.
that live there might be interested in it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, it's silly for us to maintain it when there's really no benefit for us keeping it, so.
So what do we, just put that on public sale, or how do you,
I would,
and then
Highest bidder.
it's like surplus.
So you guys okay with doing that with that one?
Yeah.
you are not gonna need it for anything and ever,
We'll keep sufficient right of way around it, just like we do on the other 4 sides, so, or 3 sides.
so right now, do y'all go out there just to mow that little bit of,
Well, that and we mow the center of the roundabout.
so whoever buys that property, tell them they have to mow the center of the roundabout for us.
Is that the old woman address?
You okay with that, or?
Yeah, I don't see any reason to keep it. Why did, we gotta quit putting grass in the roundabouts. Do like Columbia and just make
Pave
a
it.
yellow circle.
Well, we're gonna get to that one here in a minute.
Wildflowers.
I think.
Wildflower.
All right. That one I'm fine with
Okay.
getting rid of, if you're sure we're not gonna need it.
Osage City. So we acquired a lot that doesn't abut the other lot that we have that's along the river. The parks had talked about putting in a boat ramp or something, but there's really not sufficient space for anybody to park down there unless we use the other lot for parking, but it's just one of those things that we're having to maintain it and pick up trash and other things there as well. So I wanted to bring it to you guys just to see where you're at on that one. It's in Osage City, so.
What else what can we do with it?
There is kind of a pretty limited boat ramp there now, and then, I mean, it's an old.
Yeah, it's just a gravel or dirt boat ramp. We don't maintain it as such as far as putting rock and stuff on it. It's just there, it was there.
Who put that in?
I have no idea. This property was obtained through some court action. It was excess property that nobody ever had title to down
I think we
along the
took
river.
adverse possession of it. We split it up. One of them was another property owner had been taking care of it for 10, 20 years, and we'd been taking care of part of it 10, 20 years, and we had it in court. And an agreement was we'd let him have his part, we'd take over the other part. I don't know if we'll ever be able to really do anything with it, even putting a boat ramp in there. We had talked about that one time and saving it for parking. I don't know, what do you see anything even in 15 years that we could do with it?
Not without obtaining more of the properties down there. You'd have to be able to get more of those. I think there's like 5 or 6 lots in that area. It might be more than that. We'd have to obtain some of those. The lot that they got through the tax lien on the other, is not adjacent to it. It sits away from it where it doesn't. It's not conducive for parking if you would put a boat ramp in it. And I'm not sure you might, even to get a boat ramp like what Conservation has just right upstream there at 5063 interchange. I think you'd either have to extend it out into the river further, or, like I said, obtain that property where you can reduce the slope back in, where people back down in.
And do we have some liability if we put the boat ramp in?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a hard enough time right now. We don't have the dock at our park actually insured because it's the structure, yes, but when you put stuff on water, it becomes a different kind of issue for insurance purposes. So I'd suggest we stay away from
Yeah.
it unless you want to talk to Mo Perman.
So we don't have to decide today on that one. I wanted to kind of put this out to you guys and just let you think about it a little bit. And I don't see the point in continuing to maintain something unless we got a future plan for it. And it, I mean, I don't know that it's really a park. I mean, it's just basically.
Jeff, wouldn't you like to have your own boat ramp?
Sure. I gotta get a boat then. Boats are high maintenance. If we're not gonna put a ramp in there, then there's no sense keeping it. And I don't care if we look and see if Conservation, if they'll put a ramp in there and for it to serve the people in Osage City, otherwise let's just sell it.
We had conversations with Larry Bishop. He wanted to be here today, but he's been out sick the last 2 days. He had conversations with them, and with no more property we have there, they're not.
Yeah, there's not very much room there, but would
And
they be able to?
plus they have the access just upstream about a mile. The Mariosa Delta access right there at 50. I think it's only like a mile. It might be a little over a mile upstream.
So there's 2 pieces of property not adjacent to each other. The one of them is a railroad, up to the railroad tracks to the WeWork property, and then the other one is somewhere different.
Yeah, it's
Just kind of catty corner.
So
Different
we can
street.
let Larry see if anybody's interested in it, or we can put it up for sale, or we can table it and bring it back on the agenda in a couple of weeks.
We could make a tractor trailer turnaround there.
It's not big enough.
Did I email you that picture too? We had another one get down there.
They went down today to check the signs, so.
Okay, I didn't get down there yesterday.
Wait for Larry, but I think maybe we ought to try to sell it too, because I just,
Well, let's bring it back in a couple weeks and when Larry can be here.
yeah.
Be all right.
Yeah.
And then the other one's Ren's Lake. Jill's checking with.
I emailed Mike after the last time that was brought up. Got a reply back, he was on vacation, would get back to me, and he has not done that, so I'll email him again. But I suggest you wait till I consult with Mike.
That's in your district now.
It's our lake.
You're right there.
None of us up here voted for it, so.
You're right about that. So, I mean, if Larry and Larry had indicated that maybe somebody might be interested in that property, and if so, I don't see any benefit to the county to keep that. So, I'd be apt to, if we could sell it, I'd be apt to get rid of it. But that's just my opinion. But
Let's have Jill check with Mike first.
Okay.
And then I would want to check with, I would give the residents up there first option on it.
Yeah.
And allow them, if they want to get a home association or do something where, I don't even know if they can put a lake back in there or not, but give them first option on it. It's been a sore subject.
Okay.
Like I said, none of us up here voted for it, but
Sure.
I think I'd like to give them first option on it.
okay. So can we bring Osage City and Ren's Lake back in a couple weeks? Keep it rolling. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Thank you. Then Bighorn Drive roundabout discussion. So another maintenance issue there. I talked to Larry and Larry about actually maybe taking out that grass and maybe putting in some type of decorative rock or whatnot. And they had talked about just spraying that once a year, keeping the weeds down, keep it maintained.
Larry did talk, he did text me yesterday. He did talk to the Thanans. Mrs. Thanen was going to talk to Ken and get back to us about
Okay.
whether they would take over the maintenance on it. They like the grass.
Okay.
But we'll get back with you on that, so.
Okay.
Hate to be a stick in the mud on that one. Is that going to be a liability issue too then?
Sure.
Because, I mean, every time you try to do something nice and it comes back and bites you in the backside.
Well, I know the city has some agreements, we'd have to come up with some type of agreement to protect the county as far as doing the maintenance in that right of way.
Okay, well, as long as they're fine with that, because I can understand where they're coming from. If you just have rocks sitting in there, it looks different if it's growing up. And even the master gardeners, I think, have some kind of agreements with the city, and so.
You know, Jill, maybe check with the city and see on that. I know they have some roundabouts in town where they're maintained, I think it's by the master gardeners.
Yeah. But there's a statue on one now, if there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just basically looking to limit our maintenance costs, and if somebody else wants to maintain it, I'm happy for them to do it, so.
You know, like what Chris was talking, if we put decorative rock in there, we can go by it once a year. You're still gonna get grass coming, I mean, if you put the, material down below through dust and stuff. If we run by and spray it once a year, we wouldn't have to run someone out there with a push mower to cut it, so.
Yeah, we're not looking to put regular road rock or anything. It'd be something decorative, but at the same time, it's if the Thanans would take it, that'd be even better, so.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
Discussion of capital improvements.
Okay. Well, I know you guys wanted to talk about that. I did send you a spreadsheet on that. Let me see if I can get it up here.
Yeah, put it up on the screen.
We still have our list.
99 windows in the
We're
courthouse.
putting our list together yet. I was assuming that we didn't need to get it before the 16th, I think, what the email was.
Oh, on the, yes.
It's on the long range?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is something different, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting a head start on that so I can get an idea of what they're looking for.
Okay.
All right, I don't know if you noticed on the spreadsheet, I just trying to come up with a way to accommodate the years going across so we can also do a better job of budgeting. You know, when we put a new roof on the courthouse building itself, that we can go out whatever they say, 20, 30, 50 years. And then again, allow for some money at that point in time.
What did you call this when you sent this to us? Was this long-range planning?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you. So is this just, I guess Greg's not here, but anyway, so when you, yeah, I couldn't see all this probably, but anyway, all this stuff is just items that will have to be addressed over a 10 or 15 year period. So like the roof and all these things, we just listing all those and then
Is what I was-
kind of projecting how long before they would need replacement or some attention or.
Right.
Okay.
And what I did put on, like each building, I separated by building. We talk about the exterior part of the building, generators, what we have in the buildings. Obviously, I put in there seal and tuck pointing because we just did that and I wanted to put that out there. The windows, parking lot, anything particular that had to do with that building. And then the mechanics of it, you know, the chillers, the boilers, the pumps, and the heat registers themselves. And then what went on to the interior part of it, which is the carpet, lighting, restrooms, and unique to each building. And I did go over that with Greg. I know Greg gave you a very long, detailed list of his. I'm just trying to get it down to get it on one spreadsheet so we can get some numbers here. So if you don't like the way this is set up, that's what I'm asking. In the courthouse itself, right now, we have a bid that's due in February for the lighting outside for the flagpole. And the top priority list that Greg had said for that building are these that are listed here. And again, those are estimated cost. In my mind, if you want to go with those, I would move those to column E, and we consider that an expense after we bid it. And I keep this running, and then I'm just going to stick with the courthouse. Let's see, tuck pointing there, you see it on 12. I think when we did that, they told us that it would have to be done again by 2025.
Okay.
So it just, from now going forward, I'd like to continue doing something like this to give us an estimate of what we're gonna deal with. And also this one, 2024, I forget what that was, let me go back over here, the boiler. When we replaced the boiler in the courthouse 2 or 3 years ago, they gave us a timeline on when we probably have to replace that again.
Do we have, are you on one that we can get into here?
Yeah, I think I emailed it to you. This Friday or Thursday last
Oh,
week.
God, everybody emailed us since we've been in here.
So,
Friday.
Yeah, it was 2/6. Yeah, Friday 2/6. Long range planning for infrastructure.
and again, I could try to design this any way you want, but it gets very hard to go out that many years and to accommodate every building. But if you got any ideas, I'm no expert on this.
I like this.
Yeah, I like Greg's top priorities too.
Well,
not that-
but I'd like to see that incorporated into what you have there. Exterior mechanics, interior, whatever. Just so that, and then his top priorities would go in 15. Now, if we don't get them done in 15, then they move to 16 or, but I mean, ideally, if his list is bigger than this, I mean, then we could have these for 15, so much for 16, and then we kind of look, at least, I'd say we need to look at least 3 years out.
And you get down to the other building, I think it was it this building? He had more than priority list, he had a second priority. To me, that what you're saying, that could be then the next year out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, versus, but I tried to do it by building, so you could see, and again, that's the annex going down, we have the Sallyport, I have nothing there, neither did he. Carnegie Building, he had some stuff in those categories there. Then we went down to the Health Department building, and again, those were his budget requests, and then priority, and then versus B and C level, I think he labeled them. And then I went to the juvenile center, we talked about the generator and placement of boiler there, and what I understand now is we probably have this HVAC and this boiler, which is a combination, maybe talking about bidding that. We gave Jennifer the direction the other day to look at that. And once we have firm figures on that and an agreement is signed, I'd move it to column E. So we know we have to plan to spend that money. And then just going down again,
So you
Shepherd's
don't
Building.
want to move it to column E until,
Whatever you want to do, I can move it now. I'm just not sure of the, and, you know, whether you're gonna do it, whether you're not gonna do it once the bids come in, but I can placehold, and that's what we're doing. To me, it's placeholding that money. Technically, I don't have to do it till a bid is led, till the amount is gone, but if we can, I'll just go down through here. The Shepherd's Building, that was just a blue priority, it wasn't really law enforcement, public works, there really wasn't anything there. Work in progress right now, and this is an other category. There's other things that come out of our sales tax other than building, other than maintenance. We have our computer services, and right now we have that agreement with BS&A, and we also have computer equipment Dale has been approved to purchase this year, and I guess that's basically it that's in there. GIS, we contracted with that group that you signed an agreement, so I moved it to column E. The same way with the auditors, small purchases. Right now, currently, we have out to bid, we're going out to bid on the voting machine. I'd like to move that to E if you guys are going to do that this coming year. The same way with, we're working on the security system. Again, these are placeholder amounts that I've got in column D. And I'm waiting to hear from you guys whether you're gonna approve these other requests. Be it the microfilming, the treasurer's request, the EM request for tables and chairs for their meeting room, again, the bailiffs for monitors. And then I did hear this morning, which I did change, the health department. And which I'll just put that right here after hearing what I heard this morning, that you're gonna, you know, let her go out and do that. Because I didn't know if I was still waiting for approval on that. So total, what we have is $367,500. Now you ask what we have, I'm gonna go.
wait a minute, whoa.
Oh, sorry.
Where are you getting $367,000?
I just added
Everything that's in 2015?
yes,
And then add the 25 for the,
Did you add the 220 for the voting machines?
no. Only what's in column E did I add.
Okay.
If you want me to move that stuff over, this is what this meeting's all about, in my
So
mind.
total, you have expended everything in column E of $367,000. Okay.
And assuming you'll do the health department, 25,000. I can take that out right
For the vehicle.
Vehicle, yeah.
And as you know, keep in mind, lots of stuff happens throughout the year that we end up approving that we have no control over. And that stuff obviously is not in here. So I would like to keep a contingent of something. But basically, what you have in there is the computer stuff and the flag code.
The switches out of Public Works, Larry, is that coming out of your budget or is that, okay.
Okay, yeah, and if there's anything else that you can remember that I don't have on here, I'm
Okay.
just going by, and again, that would come out of your budget, so.
That's what we put it in with our money we budgeted, so.
Last year, we did a major expense for Public Works and paying for that property. So that, again, that's not in here, but it's out of the cash. So when we started this year in sales tax, we brought over 533,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm expecting a revenue 846. So total, what we have is 1,380,000. Okay? We talked about using some of the reserve, and we talked about the receivership when we were working on
Right.
doing something with the jail. I have obviously big question marks there. That's totally up to you. And then you can see what I did in 2016. Assuming we spent what we have this year, our revenue is only $846,000 a year. And then that is the end of that 5-year cycle of sales tax. And then that's why I've highlighted the next 5 years in blue.
Mm-hmm.
said sales tax 846.
Our
Yeah.
portion, our 15%.
That's the courthouse portion of the sales tax.
Right.
The other 85 is road bridges portion.
And to me, this is.
Off
what
of,
we-
based off last year's.
Yeah. Yes.
Sales
No
tax
increase.
revenue?
Yes, no increase from last year.
Okay.
They may have put interest in there, but I'm not sure, but it's the same. So, again, in a normal year, we'd have 850,000.
Right.
And you can see by the tune of some of these projects here, one project will cost you that much.
Well, talking Greg, I asked him what's his really top one, and that's the Pringer Center, because he's
What's at the Pringer Center?
The heating and AC.
yeah, because he said that's
Saying I heard different, not from Greg. I've talked to heating, cooling guys, and they said that it could last forever. We keep putting Band-Aids on it, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to go ahead and bid it and have something there that we can do, but it's gonna be expensive,
mm-hmm.
so.
And in that same respects, if I go ahead and move over the estimated cost for those projects, down here, again, you guys know better than I do what that would, if those are good guesses or not. Just putting in those, we're up to 589. Again, we have 1,000,003, but 500,000 is a carryover from the 1 year before. So, and, you know, if you want any of these in there, you have to, the voting machines, if you go ahead and put that in there. And again, this is all just for us to play with. You're at the 809. So, will there be other things that come up this year? Yes, there will. Your stuff's gonna break, and stuff's gonna happen here, so. And the security system, now you put that in there, and that's just we're ready to go to bid on that. As soon as the RFP is done, you're looking at 900,000. So, you have to tell me.
I don't know if you guys want to go through this now, or you want to think about it, or what. I mean, I've looked at it quite a bit. I mean, in your other,
Yes.
the EM tables and chairs
Yeah.
for the training room,
Mhm.
to me, that could come out of emergency management, or I'm sorry, EMS sales tax.
That's not for EMS though.
They
That's
use
for-
that. They use that for their training room.
They do
Yeah.
use it.
What percentage do they use it though?
Probably.
Quite often, but.
I thought we gave them a training room in their new area.
Not for our
Not for
big
that.
training. It's just for like.
Unless they move their couches and chairs and stuff. But I did add
I
after
hate for them to have to
you
move their
talking this
couches and
morning,
chairs.
I did add this other sheet, probably not on the one you're looking at.
Okay.
But I did go ahead and put capital in there for EMS and looking at what he was talking about, the vehicles versus the cardiac versus the COTS versus the computers and iPads. I will get with
Okay.
Mike to try to come up with, so we're all looking at it the same way. And
Yeah.
I can add those EMS chairs and tables. It's only 4,000, I
Right.
think. You know, it's not that big of an item there.
I mean, I'm good with the one vehicle for EMS. I'm good with the bailiff's request for the 6 monitors for basically that's for the cameras. The treasurer's workstation, I'm kind of wanting to hold off on that until we figure out our long-range plan.
Okay.
The microfilming, that's just one of them things that I just hate it, but
Well, I think when we talked about that during the budget,
yeah.
that we kind of said, you know, let's get these cases done because they're partially done.
Right.
And I mean, are we going to decide on some of these today?
No, that's totally up to you. That's totally up to you. I mean,
I think we need to decide pretty soon if we don't decide today, just
Well,
so
we
that-
kind of decided on the vehicle for health department, so that was been
Yeah.
decided, so.
I mean, I don't like the microfilming, but I mean,
Yeah, let's not start talking about
Yeah.
microfilming at all.
okay.
I think we need to go ahead and get those done though. And we'll have those done through 2002.
I mean, these are pretty small ticket items. So we want to move forward on the microfilming?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so. I think we
Okay, when you
talked about that during the budget.
Yes.
And I was fine with it then. if we talk about it again, I might change my mind.
Right. I'm good with it. I mean, I don't like it, but let's.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, well, I will at least let her know. I mean, obviously for that dollar amount, it may have to be bid, or if that's under state contract. I'm not sure at this point,
Okay.
so. And again,
I'm same way as Chris as far as the workstation. If we're looking at moving people around, then let's just hold off on that another, I don't know if we're gonna talk about this again in a couple of weeks, whatever.
however often you want to talk.
I mean, countywide security system, we don't know what that number is gonna come back, and we haven't even put it out for bid yet, right? And the voting machines, I just say we wait. I mean, we're gonna look at them this year, but I don't know that we'll do anything this year. It may be split over 2 years, so.
Well, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna have to do half of it this year and half next year, and all of it.
Right.
The next, before the next elections in 16.
Yeah.
Kinda,
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something.
they're getting them bid right now though, right?
Right.
Right,
So
those
we'll go
are out
outside
to
that.
bid.
Okay.
Um,
EMS tables, or EM tables and chairs, so.
If you want me to.
You're
bid
saying
this,
they use that probably majority.
I'd say they do. I'm not sure how many meetings Bill actually
As long as
has.
we can take it, cause since that's a separate fund.
I think you need to act like Debbie Backus or someone that schedules that room and find out percentage of time, but my understanding was that EMS does use that quite often for their training.
To come out of that fund, does it have to be used 75%, 100%, 50%? I mean, it's a majority.
Well, I guess it's kind of your interpretation. I mean, the ballot language said for emergency medical services was the definition.
well, and emergency management
Do
uses
you
it
consider
too.
what Bill Farr does emergency medical services at some point?
I
That's kind
do,
of your definition of that department.
They're gonna overlap, so.
Yeah.
I'm fine with taking it out of EMS as long as we take it out of that fund. And if we start using it a lot for other things, then we can,
I mean, you also have the option to split it. I mean,
Reimburse it
If
from-
you could have EMS pay for a portion and ours pay for, I mean, you can split that cost also.
see if Bill can get a grant for it.
Okay, well, let's,
So
got
basically,
that.
it's just to get you to agree that this looks okay, I mean, and that we will try to keep up with this, and I'll work with Greg more. And again, the different buildings, obviously, the new law, well, I can't spell building right there, but the law enforcement building itself, obviously all new. Unfortunately, everything will break at the same time. And you know that would be very expensive over there, so.
okay.
But I could go out on some of the boilers and the fans and the pumps as to when we built that building, how long that was supposed to last. And then I could take it out. My biggest problem is I've been putting 2% a year. I have no idea what this, a new boiler is gonna cost 20 years from now versus what we paid for, but I did put 20% on it. Sorry, 2% a year. I don't know.
That's
what-
fine.
Unless you guys got a better factor to go with. Yeah, it may be cheaper. Yeah.
I'd like to go through this list real quick, if you guys bear with me a little bit, but, so printer, I'm good with bidding HVAC, we'll see where that comes at. I'm really not inclined to do anything at the health department at this time, see where our long-range facilities plan goes. Carnegie, I'm really not inclined to do anything there.
Who met with public defender? Do you meet with them?
I got invited to come over on March 9th, and I'm going to extend an invitation to the both
So what
of
do they
you
want?
at 8 a.m. He just wanted to know if we would come over and see their offices, and I said sure, and I
Does he
talked
want
to Debbie. Well, they're funded by how many counties?
I bill 3 counties.
Okay.
Based on their population, based on the square footage of that
Yeah.
building, and it amounts to hardly nothing.
Yeah.
You know, so that's all by statute I'm allowed to be able to bill them for, so.
But I'm just gonna go look and listen. I don't think.
And I just, I warned Sam that when we, the health department left there, when we redid that building, the public defenders were in the hole in the basement for many, many years.
Yeah, that's
And
where I
now they've
remember them
taken over
being.
a whole floor just
Yeah.
because we've had room in that building. Now, do they need a whole floor? I'm sure they're gonna tell you they need more than that.
Well, it's,
Right.
that's kind of a weird entity, I think, that's,
So,
Annex to the courthouse annex, I don't want to do anything with carpet and paint just yet. The windows, I don't know. I wouldn't mind taking a bid for windows for the courthouse and the annex together, just to see where that number's going to come in at. Those are a big ticket item, but we do have the receivership fund that we could use to help with that.
I'd be willing to use that on the windows for the courthouse, maybe not so much the annex.
Right. But I think I think there's some value if somebody's got a lift here, maybe we could get a better price if they had more work to do and try to maybe bid the courthouse with an alternate to do the annex while they're here.
Yeah, we can pay them separately.
Yes.
well, that was one of the, I think, Quaker, they're saying we could do it in stages on the courthouse, and you could maybe figure this in too and spread it out over,
But, I mean, you do get you are going to get a better price if they can rent a lift for a month or 2 months or whatever and be here and just do them all at once. So maybe we could bid it that way. But I'd like to at least see where that number's at, because that's a big one that we really need to do.
and as far as the receivership, we're at $583,000, so that gives you an idea of what you're talking about. I mean, it's up to you, we can get started on those bids if that's.
He's got $1 million on the windows. I don't know if we have to do all the windows. We've got some where they were put in backwards, so we have some interior work that's gonna need to be done as well. And we can't do it till we have the windows
well, I think
fixed.
the one bid was for replacing them at once, and then the last that he had
I'm
looked
saying
at.
what's
was-
wrong with, if there's a window
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with, why
Yeah.
replace it? The other ones that are cloudy or have water issues, leaking issues, put in backwards.
Well, and he did have.
It's $1 million between the two of them.
Yeah.
He did have
For
a note on
windows.
there, repair and upgrade windows basically means the rubber seal on the glass, $35,000, so I don't know how.
They said they can't fix the windows that are in backwards because they don't have a sill in there to keep the water from just coming right inside and causing more damage to the interior.
I don't know. I mean,
Look at the ones in the stairwell, I wouldn't be surprised if
Yeah.
those were put in backwards.
I'll tell you what, walking over here every day, that's our sidewalks. We've got some really crumbling sidewalks, and I don't understand it because we've got the worst sidewalks downtown, considering they were put in at the same
You
time.
mean
Uh,
the
out-
irrigated stuff that's out there, or is it the city part or?
The city part, the city part. I think maybe we're using the wrong, we might not be using the right chemicals, because I know that's, when they put them in, with the merchants, we were told what we could use and what we couldn't use, but we've got some sections out here past the parking lot that are just, they're dangerous. So even if, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's probably something that maybe maintenance could patch them up. I mean, with
Yeah,
bringing
that's-
big lifts and stuff in, we got to get the bulk of the buildings done
Yeah.
with these big lifts and stuff before we start working on landscaping and lighting and other
Yeah.
stuff, because it's all gonna. I mean, we'll end up tearing up more stuff and having to fix it again.
And obviously with that big expense of those too, you could consider that within the next 5-year sales tax too, because we'll be looking, unless you've got other plans for the next 5 years, but, because that's gonna be a major expense. But we can look at it, we can bid it, whatever you guys wanna do.
I just, rather than having Greg's top priority list at the bottom, I'd kind of like to see it included, so that maybe we could shorten some of that up and look at it more of a snapshot. But
Instead of by building.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, priority for 15 would be what Greg has there. Priority for 16, maybe that's a secondary list. And then, you know, then we can keep moving these from 15 to 16 or 17 or whatever, but at least we kind of know what we're doing each year, what we can afford to do each year, and what kind of, I mean, I know we haven't passed the sales tax for 17 through 21, but.
Right.
Well, it does make sense, though, to take windows there and here and just get bids on, do it at the same time, just see.
I could make a whole separate thing and then put that by building, you know, just so it's an easier, quicker glance. I know I've went back and forth so many times. It's just hard to get all that information into one spreadsheet.
Yeah, good, this is pretty good, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is fine.
Yeah,
I just like to see it in the, so that we know that there's our income, and of course, you've got some of them listed as an expense, but,
Right. I'm assuming, you know, just these that are in E that we're definitely gonna go with, but we're just waiting for the process to get the final dollar figure.
so in general, I like it. I mean, if you can add some stuff for EMS and, you know, to try to project some of that stuff out over 2 or 3 years, I mean, that's, so at least we can see it coming when we start working on capital stuff, because we don't always see into the future very well.
No. Well, and, you know, just like that, a roof, you know, fixing a roof on a courthouse, I could go back to when we did that, but the cost of that was phenomenal compared to, you know, if I go out 30 years or whatever they said it would last because of that tile roof that we have there. At least it's a start, I mean.
Anything else you guys want to look at?
When do we have this on the agenda to talk about? Don't we have the facilities stuff to talk about? I mean, this and.
The 16th, wasn't it?
Okay. I mean, is this gonna be part of that, or we just?
When were we having all the elected,
Oh, their
the
meeting?
long-range facilities plan?
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't put that on the agenda, but I asked them to have it in here by the 16th
Okay.
or 17th. And then I was going to ask you guys what you wanted to do. If
Okay.
you wanted to review them, if you wanted to, right now, I've probably got like 4. I mean,
I think we need to have a work session to go through that. Not necessarily a commission meeting, but maybe a work session.
and we can go ahead and set something up if you want, since I know the deadline of when I've told them, so.
Well, let's not do it next week, but maybe the week after.
So
Maybe we
24th that
could
week.
do it after a commission meeting or something.
Yeah.
Is the 24th too soon after that? Oh my gosh, please.
Need to get out your paper calendar.
No, I can't do it.
Huh?
I mean, you guys can do it, I just can't.
You can't do it the 24th?
On the 26th.
Why? You gonna be out there for timesheets?
We've got the lunch.
You got people to
with
do that.
Department heads, we could do it.
We can,
Hey,
I mean, till
before that.
2016 then.
So what about the first part of March?
Okay.
How about the 3rd?
That'll work. I don't think there's much on there yet. The chamber's coming.
Oh, yeah, I got Randy.
Yeah, well, I don't know, look it out. Okay, you want me to put that as a work session that day, or after that, or kind of an admin kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's.
Just do it after.
Yeah, I think it's more of an informal.
Do it
I mean,
after the-
we can do it in session, but I think it's more of an administrative
Do
or
it
a work
after the
session.
commission.
Yeah.
Okay, the 3rd.
Can we get that, that Osage City and Renz Lake back on the 24th?
On the 24th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Does
you.
that work with Larry, you think?
And then on the March 5th, was that the day that we had the the training or whatever, we're just gonna look at doing a workshop for the BOE. I don't have that paper.
Oh, that's the one, yeah, we were going,
That
no.
was in Camdenton.
I thought that was May. That's May.
Oh, March, May, whatever.
It's May.
Well, the reason I had asked.
You're right, it's May 5th.
The
So
reason
we
I had
can
asked
move
about
one.
that is, do you think we even need to go to that, or
I think I'm gonna go if I can make it. I don't think it'd hurt.
is it an all-day thing?
Because I don't know, I kind of disagreed with the way Marvin was running some stuff up here on them. Because we had people sitting there we could have questions answered to, and they said, nope, you close this down, whatever. It's like, well, don't close it then. We can decide while we're still
Mhm.
in it, and that's where I would have some questions.
I can't make that one, but if there's another one coming up some other
Yeah,
day.
after that, the next closest one I think is Macon. You got Springfield, Union, Jackson, Liberty.
Got to open up your emails.
I open up my emails,
So
I got,
on May
I get
5th,
into
we have-
April and May, I'm in prom time, I don't even look
I'm
past
just
that.
teasing you, Sam.
May 5th,
You're
we
an
have-
easy target, buddy.
I just know May 5th, I couldn't do it.
There's always an ounce of truth to sarcasm, though, so take it how you may. So can we move May 5th to May 6th?
Yes.
We got a meeting scheduled for May 5th, move it to May 6th, and then that way
Yes.
I can pencil in this meeting.
That was my suggestion.
So are Wednesdays bad for you, or why are we doing Tuesdays? What happened with?
Tuesdays are the best day for me. Wednesdays, especially in April, May, and June, get kind of crazy. But May 6th, I will make it work.
You gonna put
And I
that?
don't even have a problem with Mondays, but I think Chris, Mondays don't work.
Well, Mondays aren't the best, but
Yeah.
anyway, if you put that in your calendar for that BOE workshop, will you send me an invite on that? And then I might see if I can't make that too.
I'll make the one in Macon.
That work?
So am I supposed to be moving May 5th?
May
meeting?
5th
To May 6th.
please.
Yes.
Yeah, I can let her know too. What's the? Okay, I already asked you about the public defender's offices.
And you're
What's this?
invited to,
I sent you an email in response to that.
I ain't
did.
caught up. I wasn't doing my emails during the meeting like you. Actually, I just started. I was catching 26 of them from you.
I was talking to Sam.
I read all my emails.
Do you?
so yes, I do.
Respond.
What's okay? So they're wanting to meet Friday in Columbia
Yeah,
after.
Spectrum invited, she said since we're over in Columbia, and I said the way things are going Wednesday and Thursday, but looking at the agenda, we're done early afternoon on Friday, so they offered to meet with us while we're over in Columbia.
Okay.
And I told them I would get back to them.
About what? Anything in particular? Or
They're just gonna give us an update, a report.
on what? We usually have them do that here in a meeting. They don't want to do that?
No. She was here for one meeting and just said hi, and
Okay, I guess I'm not understanding what the meeting's about, because somewhere along the line it says something about the regional airport thing too.
no, that's a different one. That's Mike Mathis who's the city manager of Columbia, left a voice message on wanting to know if we would go with the $100,000 again that we had given before. They're looking at trying to expand air service to Charlotte, North Carolina. And so I told him I would talk to the two of you and see what your pleasure is. We can have them come over and make a presentation. It's really whatever you want to do.
I'm still on the Spectrum thing then. So where are they wanting to do the meeting with us? If they're just wanting to give us an update, then we need
See,
to
I
do
know
it here in a
Spectrum
meeting.
is, yeah.
So Jason sent us the invite, or did you have?
No, Jen sent us the invite.
She just sent it to you, 'cause I didn't get it. No thing. Sure
Okay,
didn't
I'm
see
trying
it.
to figure out what we're talking about, because whether, if this is just gonna be an informational, we're gonna sit down and listen to them, I don't think we have to put it on the agenda, but if they're gonna be doing a quarterly update or something, then we probably ought to have it in a meeting.
I will ask
And
her
So,
if it's the way she made it sound, they're just kind of want to give us, yeah, update.
but we usually do those in a meeting here, so
If
why don't we do
so-
it Friday? I
They
hate
wanted,
Friday afternoon.
she had somebody who was, they were bringing in, and originally we were gonna do it at one of these, and then he couldn't make it. I will get a clarification, I'll get back to you.
Anything else?
Um,
You got anything else, Jeff?
I'm trying to see. Too many stacks of papers here because I got handwritten notes now.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I guess that's it.
Motion to adjourn.
Stand in recess. I'll make a motion to stand in recess till 4:30.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I got to call for a roll. Jeez.
So next week I put, secure text back on there. My